Top of the hour, KDKA News at 11. Let's send it over to the news desk. That's where Ken Rice is. Good evening, Ken.
Josh, good evening. We're just getting details on an active shooter reported near a college in Baltimore, Morgan State University. Multiple people injured there. We're going to have the latest at 11. Plus, where things stand in the U.S. House now that it has booted Speaker Kevin McCarthy, and the charges filed in the investigation into guns found at a local high school. All coming up at 11 on KDKA. Josh.
Thank you, Ken. In addition to everything Ken talked about, we will talk a little bit about the Steelers. We'll give you an update on Kenny Pickett. We will talk about Mike Tomlin's comments about facing Lamar Jackson. Believe it or not, this is the first time in a couple seasons that the Steelers are actually facing Lamar Jackson. They haven't faced him since December of 2021. He's actually missed the last 3 regular season meetings against the Steelers because of injuries, but we'll get Mike Tomlin's thoughts on him and how they're going to prepare for the Ravens offense as well. Plus, we'll talk some postseason baseball. We talked about Arizona and Milwaukee. That game is final. Diamondbacks beat the Brewers 6-3. So Arizona takes a 1-0 lead in that series in the National League wild card. Plus, we'll have some highlights from other games as well. But before we let you go, we got a tweet from John who asks, if you were in the Pirates organization, would you at least look into Trevor Bauer with the recent news? That's a very good question, and it's something that I'm sure 29 other cities are asking the same question. And we're also talking in light of what Trevor Bauer is claiming, as far as claiming his own innocence in his entire situation, the sexual assault allegations, be they as they may. It's a tough thing to call because this is one of those situations where every team needs to do their own due diligence. There are ways to go about it. There are people that you can employ that can help you find that information, and I'm sure you can talk to a few different people that could probably give information that you're looking for. Some of it I'm pretty sure is public domain, but there is going to have to be a lengthy process if you want to do something like that. I've been one of those people that's saying the Pirates won't get the turnaround that we're looking for without pitching. It makes you wonder just how in shape Trevor Bauer is, because it's been, at least a year and a half, almost 2 years since Trevor Bauer pitched in a major league game. So you're talking about a long layoff there, almost 2 seasons. How much does he really have left in the tank? Can he really be ready to do stuff like that? But on top of that, how is everything off the mound? How is everything off the field? Can he keep himself out of trouble? Is everything else clear with the things that are surrounding him? It's just really hard to gauge all of that just by one glance. It's going to take something extensive to really figure it all out. I don't know if you can really solve it with one phone call. That's probably going to be a lengthy investigation. I say at least kick the tires. I say there's nothing wrong with asking the question. And if you're going to do something like that, you need to be absolutely 100% sure if you're going to make that move, because there could be so much more fallout if the decision happens and you don't do all your due diligence. But a great question, though. Sean on Twitter says, wearing pads more at practice isn't going to get you more than 230 yards of offense and 6 points. Can't believe the Roonies are settling for this product on the field. You're right about that. But what it might be able to do, it might help you as far as hitting people on defense, because that's been a problem in 3 of the 4 games that they've played. Hitting folks on defense, particularly in the run game, and we had a caller that just talked about it. I think it was Gary he talked about it. You got to be able to stop the run. And the truth of the matter is, this team really didn't start being a little bit more physical and stopping the run on defense until the second half started. It's almost like they went into the locker room at halftime and hit the reset button on the game. Some of us do that sometimes when you fall behind that bad. Fortunately, you have the opportunity right now, and I guess I have to lean on this because it's the one thing that I try to point to without losing my mind. You have the opportunity with this game before the bye week and then 12 games following that to kind of hit the reset button. You can still start with some things you do differently, and I'm not even worried about what they do in practice and how they do it. I'm more worried about who's on the field. And I'm with Sean. Like, pads at practice, it probably isn't going to really change the results. You know what will? Using your personnel better. You're going to have to start Broderick Jones at left tackle. Probably not the worst thing in the world, because we know he's a pretty decent run blocker. You're going to have to start Darnell Washington at tight end. Probably not the worst thing in the world, because you know he's a pretty good run blocker. You know what might work for you pretty well? Putting those 2 guys next to each other and telling them, hit the guy in front of you. And then the guy behind them with the ball, have him run behind those 2 guys through space and get yards. That might be a good place to start. Everything else, we'll see from there. In the meantime, we are out of time. Sorry to Andrew Filipponi with our technical issues. We couldn't get him on the show, but for our producer, Hannah Mears, and our team here at KDKA, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you later.